Okay, so today we're going to make a bucket hat. So attached in the bio below, or description below, you're going to find the link to the website where I got the pattern for. And then you're going to print that pattern off, and you're going to measure your head and cut it accordingly. Go bigger than smaller, as I've discovered you want it to fit comfortably. Now take your pattern and cut the pieces out. You'll want two types of fabrics. I guess you could do the same fabric if you want, but if you do different types, it can be reversible. One should be a little bit more sturdy than the other, and then one can be like a softer cotton. As you can see, I chose little surfer women because it's a bucket hat and you wear them to the beach. Before cutting, put some pins in it so it holds it in place. Some of my shapes were a little bit off because I didn't do that, so don't do what I do. Do it right. My pin cushion that I got from a house that we had to clear out because the people died, but now I have their pin cushion that they made. It's very nice. Admire it. These are all the pieces that you'll need. That piece right there, the what is it? The blue one. I'm missing one. In the next clip, I'm going to cut one for it. So this is all of them excluding one piece. There it is, right there. That's the one. Bucket hats make you cool and better at scooters.
What a bitch.
Okay, so now you want to place your main fabric brim pieces right sides together and stitch the side seams with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You're going to want to do this for the brim and for the top of the hat, not the circle part, but the piece in between. Whatever that would be called. Do it on all of them. Okay, now head to the ironing board. You're going to want to iron the seams open like I did here, and then you're going to want to take the brim pieces and pin them right sides together, with the bottom edges meeting up as precisely as you can. Now iron the seams the same way you did on the brim, on the midsection of the hat. Now take the brim and stitch around the edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. After you're done, you should notch the seam allowance, and by notching I mean cut little triangles up to the thread, but not cutting the thread. I didn't do this, it wasn't an issue for me, so if you don't want to or if you forget, don't worry about it. Okay, now take the brim and turn it right side out and press. Then you're going to want to stitch around the edge of the bottom. I did about 3/8. Well, it suggests you do about 3/8. I probably did a little bit less. And then you want to repeat this over and over. It's repetitive, but it goes by quicker than you think it will. First line's done, a few more to go. So just do the same thing about the same width over and over again. Try to keep it as close as you can so it doesn't look like a squiggly line, obviously. If you're having a hard time, you can make the stitch bigger. It's easier to sew straight with bigger stitches. And then, yeah, do it till it looks like this somewhat. Now take the midsection of the hat and baste around the top edge of the main fabric and the lining fabric. After you're done this, you can also cut little triangles in at the top. I didn't really find that it helped at all, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Now wind that bobbin. Get as much on there as possible because you don't want to have to do it again. You only really need one color of thread. I got worried for the base stitch that I would need the blue just in case it showed, but I didn't really use it at all. It wasn't useful. If the base shows, you can cut it out after you're done sewing. Okay, now do the base stitch around the top of the blue one. After that, take this circle and place the right side of the midsection against the right side of the top circle piece and pin in place with a 1.5 inch seam allowance. And repeat this for the yellow fabric as well, or whatever color your fabric is in this case. I found this part the most difficult because if you make the seam allowance too big or too small, or your circle is too big or too small, it doesn't line up very well. And then I ended up having some folds in the hat where I didn't want to, so I had to redo this part. My yellow lining piece, I measured correctly and didn't have any issues with whatsoever, so this went really well. I didn't have to redo this at all. Now you're going to want to press the seam towards the band and top stitch down along the edge. The top stitch leaves a clean, fresh look, and you can do it with a wider stitch, about 4.0 is what I used, and this will allow you to sew in a nice, clean, straight line. Now place the yellow fabric, top and brim, right sides together. The raw edges and side seams should be matched up. Pin in place and stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. Give or take, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now do the top stitch like you did on the yellow fabric on the blue fabric. If you look at the bottom of this piece, you'll notice that unlike the yellow piece, I ironed the bottom a 1/2 inch up. After you're done this, place the top fabric in line with the brim and match up the seams. Pin it in place so that the pressed edge is covering the top edge of the brim, and then stitch all the way around the edge to secure. Now all you have to do is cut all the extra little strings off and put it on your head and model that. Yeah, you look good. Nice hat. Think of all the compliments you're gonna get. Or realize that you made it slightly too small, that it's not comfortable, and you're gonna have to give it to your friend like I did. So do that and then make another one if you have to.